Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm in my dad's living room. This is my dad. I'm Andy. Thanks for spending some time with us on Christmas Eve. So let's see what happens over the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Yeah, we'll talk, we'll have a chat, and you are welcome to ask us questions about what we usually do at Christmas, or what people in the UK usually do at Christmas time. If we're filming from Northern Ireland, I'm in a village called Millisle, Millisle, and I interviewed my dad in August. I made a video called Millisle. You can check that video out if you want to find out more about the place where I'm staying. I usually live in London, but now I'm staying in Northern Ireland.
And here we have a lovely view of the sea from where we sit. Yeah,
you can't see the sea. The sea is over there in front of us, but you can see the view of the sea if you check out that August video. Okay, and so first of all, I'd just like to say, Christmas is a special time for everybody. I think when you're children, I think you're even more excited about Christmas. So I remember, I think when I was about 5 or 6, I think, I used to come into your bedroom really early, didn't I?
Oh, you couldn't wait. No.
Yeah, so what sort of time would I come to see you then?
Probably around 5 or 6.
5 a.m. or 6 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, that's quite an early start. Yeah, so we're so excited. First thing in the morning, early morning, would come and see what our presents were. Now, for us and for many people in the UK, an important family tradition is the Christmas stocking. The Christmas stocking. I've got one, and Dad's got one here. So you can see it. So we've both got our Christmas stockings. And when as children, when did you usually give me and my brother a Christmas stocking?
I think you were generally able to open the stocking early, and the other presents a bit later in the day. So having the stocking made you able to just wait a little bit longer for the main things.
So where was it again? Oops, sorry, I didn't catch that. When was it?
I was saying the first thing in the morning would be to open these stockings. Then you could open anything else that there was, if there was anything else.
First thing in the morning. Okay, that's great. And well, we're going to find out a little bit later on. But I've got some things in my Christmas stocking, and things that I might get if I was a child, so around about the age of 9 or 10, I suppose. So this is what a 9 or 10-year-old would get in their stocking if they're in our family, first thing on Christmas Day. So they're simple, cheap things. They're not sort of expensive toys or games consoles or, not an Xbox or anything like that. So things I would have got maybe back in the 1980s, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a long time ago, I'm showing my age. But for you, Dad, you got some things that you might have got when you were about 9 or 10. So roughly when was that?
Well, I was born in 1937, and the Second World War began 2 years after that. So I can remember very early stages when the war was still on.
Second World War.
And so it was hard to get things like oranges because they came from abroad.
So you're talking about the 1940s, right?
Yeah, I am.
So between the two of us, that's quite a long period of time. So you got 1940s over here. So a 1940s Christmas stocking and a 1980s Christmas stocking. So what we're going to do first is show you one thing from each Christmas stocking. We're going to talk about it, and then I'm going to ask you guys to see if you can guess, what the other 3 objects each that we have in the rest of our stockings. So, first of all, would you like to choose something from your stocking, Dad?
Of course, when I was a little boy, you didn't have jazzy things like this.
Yeah.
All you had was a
Colourfuls.
pillowcase. It was in a pillowcase.
Just had a
That was
pillowcase,
all. And out of the pillowcase would come one thing, which was maybe an orange and an apple. If you were lucky, you get
so
both.
some fruit.
Yeah.
Now, why was fruit a good present back in the 1940s?
Well, for one thing, it was hard to get oranges.
Yeah.
Because they didn't grow locally, and there was a limit to transportation. Apples would be easier, but not oranges.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you didn't have an abundance of these things at home. So if you had a couple given to you personally, that was really something.
Yeah, fantastic. So they were kind of they were not that common. Yeah.
No, not so common as it would be today. No.
Okay, so so it was a kind of special present.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting. So after the 1940s, maybe in the 1940s, food, like you said, lots of different types of food were difficult to come from.
They were because of wartime, yes. And you had ration books. A lot of things you weren't even allowed to buy, and you had the money for it.
Now, Dad, could you explain what's a ration book?
A ration book is a little booklet full of coupons.
Yeah,
and when you wanted to buy something, you would hand over a coupon and then you could buy it. If you didn't have enough coupons, you couldn't buy it.
Okay. So everyone had a limited amount of food that they could get.
That's right.
During the Second
I remember as a boy, I used to go every Saturday to a local shop where they sold sweets, and we were allowed £1 worth of 4 ounces worth of sweets.
Okay. 4 ounces. Ooh, what would that be?
Was it
metric?
No, actually, for 4 people together in our family, it would be like a whole pound weight. Yeah, that you were allowed.
So a limited amount.
So it wasn't
food,
very much. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. That's so. Oranges and apples would have been a good Christmas stocking present. Yeah.
Yeah, it was much more valuable than today, taken for granted today.
Now thank you, Dad. Thanks for that. Now let's go to the 1980s. So when I was 9 or 10, roughly around that kind of age. So let's see what my first thing is. Let's have a look. So what should I get? Some chocolate. Yeah, so we'd often have chocolate or sweets, wouldn't we?
People tend to do their teeth a damage at Christmas time.
Yeah, eating lots and lots of things with sugar. So there, that's my chocolate. I'm going to eat that later. Okay. Well, if you want me to eat it live, let me know. Okay, I'm just going to put it there. So we've both told you sort of one thing from each of our stockings. So please feel free to ask us what's left in our stockings. So you can guess if you want to, or if not, we can show you and talk about it later on. Okay. So so that's quite interesting. So moving forward, now you haven't just spent Christmas in the UK, have you, Dad? So I think you also went to Taiwan, didn't you?
Yeah, I was a missionary in Taiwan from 1969 to 1979.
Okay. And so tell us about your first Christmas in Taiwan.
It was the first time I'd been away from my family, and so it was rather lonely. I wanted to do the normal Christmas things, but it was hard to do that. I went along to a service in the church I didn't know on that morning, and they had a meal prepared for afterwards. So I thought, this is great, Christmas meal. But the meal was a miserable affair, stuff that I didn't enjoy. And I thought, this doesn't feel like Christmas. So later on in the day, in the late afternoon, I had an American friend, and I took him with me to a local restaurant so that we could eat actual Christmas food.
Yeah.
But when their food came, it was not very authentic at all. Supposed to be Christmas food.
It wasn't very real.
But it didn't taste like Christmas food, really. And I thought, well, I haven't had a proper Christmas. But that evening, the friend had been invited to the home of the American couple, and I went along as well. They were going to be working in Ethiopia, and they wanted to know what it was like there. And this friend had also worked there, so he was going to tell them all about it. Okay. So we went and we knocked on the door, and the door opened up. There was a smell of Christmas food. And so we went in, and there was a Christmas dinner. So at the end of it all, yes, it was Christmas after all.
Very nice story. So can I? Yeah. So what is a traditional Christmas dinner then?
Well, turkey would be the main thing.
Okay.
But you would have stuffing. You would have potatoes done in a special way.
Okay.
You'd have various kinds of vegetables. Anything which was different from just a normal, ordinary food another time of the year.
Okay, I just got our first question. Hi, Monan. Hello there. Why short sleeves? I know it's supposed to be very cold this time of the year, but actually it's quite hot in this living room.
I've had the heating on all day.
Yeah, we've got the central heating. We've got the radiators on, and it's actually quite hot in here. So that's why I'm wearing a t-shirt at the moment. Okay, thank you for that question.
I'll turn it off later.
Ooh, it's almost like a sauna. So so you're talking about turkey stuffing. What else?
Yes, they had turkey and stuffing and vegetables, roast potatoes, all that sort of thing. Usually far too much of it.
So roast potato, that sounds good. And cranberry sauce and all that you put on the meat. Yeah,
I can't remember those from childhood or younger years. But it's been available lately a lot. Yeah.
Good. Okay. I'm looking forward to that. So actually, tomorrow we're not going to have turkey for Christmas dinner. We usually do, but tomorrow we're going to do something slightly different. So what are we having instead of turkey? We're having it's a nut roast, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're having a vegetarian. Christmas dinner tomorrow because the turkey is too big for two people. Basically, would be eating turkey for days and days afterwards. And I think turkey is okay for one
dinner. I'll be doing it after it's gone.
Yeah, eating turkey forever. Okay. But yeah, it's quite hot in here, isn't it? Oof. So.
I can go and switch the heating off.
No, it's okay. We'll do it later. We'll do it later. So so it's going to be a very unusual Christmas dinner this year. I mean, like many people, many people were having a smaller Christmas this year, and so that's why we're not eating turkey. But we're still having cranberry sauce. We're still having gravy. We're still having Brussels sprouts. That kind of those green things. I don't know how to describe them. Yeah, vegetables.
Green circular vegetables.
Yeah. So we'll be having the rest of it will be Christmassy, but not that. But not the turkey.
I mean, in this COVID era, which is the name of the disease that people have, so many people are having things which are different from normal.
Yeah.
And you just have to live as you can.
Yeah. You can. Yeah. Just you have to, don't you? So. So that's what we're doing. And also, but tomorrow we'll also be doing something we do every year. We'll be watching the Queen's speech. What time is the Queen's speech?
3:00 in the afternoon here, so probably 11 or 12 at night where you are.
Now, so the Queen's speech, it happens every Christmas Day. It's usually at 3 p.m, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't know, so what happens? The Queen sort of says something about what's going on, doesn't she?
She speaks for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that because she's a Christian, she always puts the Christian element into that time of the year.
Yeah.
So she speaks very honestly. She talks a little bit about her family. She talks about her faith, and then she wishes every good thing upon us.
Yeah.
Manages to say something different every Christmas.
Hey, and we've got 7 people watching, which is fantastic. Hello, 7 people. Merry Christmas. But yeah, she talks about something different every Christmas, the Queen, doesn't she?
Yeah, I mean, some things obviously will be the same, but you never know quite what she's going to say. And she doesn't read notes or anything. She just speaks plainly to you and is a very good speaker. People listen. And for many people, that's the big thing, to turn on to the Queen on Christmas Day.
Yeah, great. But how old is she now?
90 odd.
over 90 years old.
About 93 or 4.
93,
Yeah.
yeah, I have to check.
Even older than me.
Yeah, but you're doing well. You're 83, aren't you?
Yep.
So, but she's in her 90s. So she's doing very well for someone who's 92,
amazing.
93.
And her husband, he's even more. I think he's 99 now.
He's 99 years old. Yeah, maybe they're going to...
She's the longest serving queen we've ever had in the UK.
Yeah,
or king or queen.
Yeah, she started in the 1950s, didn't she?
Yes, 1953.
1953, yeah. So, wow, she's been going quite a long time. Right. So shall we, I don't know, shall we look at the next, would you like to look at your next Christmas stocking thing?
Next Christmas gift from the stocking, yeah.
Yeah. So what's this? What's this?
This is a notebook.
Oh, can we have a look at the title?
Well, it doesn't have to be that title.
It says Dad's Ideas for the Next Book.
What that says is that I've always enjoyed writing.
Yeah.
When I was a 9-year-old boy at school, I would sit on the school steps during break times writing my books, because writing books has always been something important for me. So it would be good to get a book that you could write in with all empty pages, so you could fill it all up with what you wanted to say for the new year.
Very nice. And you've always enjoyed writing from a very early age.
Yeah, and I still do. It's something I've always never been a greatly published author. You won't find the details of me in these catalogues, but I've had books printed and published and sent to local friends and so on. Oh,
just had a comment from Inhei. She said, "Cool title." Yeah. So hi Inhei, hello. So Dad's ideas for the next book. Yeah. So actually, and you
somebody gave me that as a gift and a few years back.
But you've kept writing all your life, haven't you? You keep writing books. I mean,
keeps me alive.
So, what was the last book you wrote?
Well, I'm writing a few at a time, but one that I've been writing and just published is all about a passage of the Bible called the Sermon on the Mount.
Okay.
And it's describing what it's all about. But all the illustrations are from China, to say what's going on in China today.
Yeah.
Because God is very active in China.
Right. And but you've written some novels as well, haven't you?
I have, yes.
That you wrote, yeah?
I've written a number of novels. One of them was about a marriage that kind of folded up. And a
marriage that broke up.
No, actually, it wasn't. It never was married. The woman had a child, and she had to give the child away.
Okay.
And then when she was older, she was looking for where the child was. Okay. That's what the story was about.
Okay. Was that historical?
No. Yes, it took place in Victorian
England, so 19th century.
Yeah.
Okay. So no, I haven't read it yet. So
I had to do a bit of research for that.
Oh gosh! So we've got 9 people watching now. So hello, 9 people. Merry Christmas! Yay! So there we are. So talking about writing. Now we've still got some things left in our Christmas stockings. So you can see it's a family tradition, and it's also a tradition in the UK. Every year, people get Christmas stockings, and you get small, simple, cheap presents in the stockings. So we'll show you some more later, but can you guess, what we've got in here? So I think I've got 2 or 3 things left, and you've got 2 things left in your stocking, I think.
I think that's so.
Yeah. Inhei says chocolate. Absolutely, you're right. The first thing that we revealed was chocolate, Inhei. So absolutely, that's something we used to get every year in our Christmas stocking. And Inhei is also saying gloves. Okay, so do you want to see the next item? See if it's gloves.
No, it's not.
What is it?
This is a pen, a fountain pen. I mean, in these days, a lot of people use ball pens, don't they? But in earlier days, you only had a pen with a nib, and when you were at school, you had to have an inkwell, and you had to keep dipping it into the inkwell when you were writing. Much more difficult than today. So having a pen was a useful thing.
So that's to go. So that's to go with your book. Your
If I was
book,
writing,
your notebook.
yeah,
Yeah,
that would be helpful. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty good. And it has cartridges, doesn't it? Yeah, things you put inside.
Well,
Yeah.
in those days, you didn't have cartridges. Today, you might have. Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to in a minute. I'm going to talk about my next item. Oh, hello. We've got another comment. When was the first time you used a ballpoint pen? Okay, Dad. So when was the first time you used a ballpoint pen?
Well, when I was at secondary school,
yeah,
I can remember somebody coming in and getting very excited, everybody gathering all around him. And he showed this pen, which had cost 32 shillings, which was a vast amount of money. And like £10 or so of today's money, which is a lot of money. But everyone was excited for him that he had this new invention. And that was at secondary school. So that's quite a while back.
Okay, so it is a long time ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
A long time ago. So, so if you just joined us, hi there. Welcome to my dad's living room. We're in Northern Ireland at the moment, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're next to the sea. Ooh, got another comment. What is secondary school? Yeah.
It's where you go when you're 11 years old for your higher education.
Okay. So how old are you when you go to secondary school?
11.
Okay. From 11 to 16 or 11 to 18. Yeah?
Yes, depending on whether you did extra exams.
I've got another question from Inhey. Thanks, Inhey. Sorry, I've just started watching. Don't worry about that. No problem. What were they? Let's go through the gifts we've got already from the Christmas stocking. So I've just had the chocolate. Did you have?
I had apple and orange.
Yeah.
And then I had a notebook to write my books in.
And then with the pen as well.
Yes, and the pen.
Okay. So maybe you could explain to the people who've just joined us why was apple and oranges? Why was getting fruit a good gift in the 1940s?
I was saying earlier that it was not easy to buy food in wartime, and something like an orange, which you couldn't really grow in England, had to import from somewhere else, was very hard to get. Apples would have been a lot easier. Oranges, no.
Okay, so that would be my.
And you didn't have a big bowl full of fruit at home. Fruit was expensive, and you just had a bit at a time.
Okay, fantastic. So there we are. So I mean, don't worry if you guys have missed the beginning of the video. Don't worry, we were late starting anyway. We were about 7 minutes late starting the video because we had technical problems with the laptop. So I was kind of panicking like that. But anyway, it's all good. Yeah, my pleasure. No problem for the summary there. Okay. So next, it's time for me to look at my stocking again. So any ideas, guys, for the next thing? Remember, these are going to be really simple, cheap things that I could get when I was younger, when I was like 9 or 10.
No video games.
No video games, nothing like that. So let's have a look. Any ideas? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I've only got. Now, I think the next thing.
Having a feely problems.
Yeah. Oh, we've got somebody guessing. So, Harry Lee, hello. Thank you for guessing. Socks. Now, socks, I think, is a good suggestion, and I think in the past, I have had socks, right?
Sometimes,
yeah. You know, in the Christmas stocking.
Maybe nice, colourful ones.
But it's a really good idea. It's a really good suggestion because we have had that in the past. Why didn't we think of socks? Okay, so the next thing I've got, it's a soft toy. Now, I think this is it. Gromit. Wallace and Gromit, the dog. Now, okay, this is from the 1990s, I think, not from the 1980s, but okay. Never mind.
We've had that in the family for a long time.
Yeah, we have had that. Yeah. But I mean, it's I think it was one. Yeah, it was one of my favourite programs. Definitely when I was younger. Thanks, Haru. Yeah, see, he's very cute, isn't he? Wallace and Gromit. So I used to love the animations that he was in. Wallace and Gromit. Hey. Okay, well, who gave it to us?
I don't remember.
Oh, really? I think it was a friend of the family. I think it was a friend of our mum's who gave it to us back in the 1990s. So that's quite a long time ago. But yes, we used to love Wallace and Gromit. It's you might know it. I don't know if you do. It's like an animation with like a stop animation, and it's really funny. And it used to take place in the north of England, and they used to have these crazy adventures. My favourite episode of Wallace and Gromit was called "The Wrong Trousers," and it was really, really funny. So I might send you a link to it in the description when we've finished. If you want to check out Wallace and Gromit, it's really funny. And they used to have new episodes that they used to make and show you on TV at Christmas time. So I'll send you a link to that later in Hey, okay? And for all of you, fantastic. So these are my two things. Okay, right now we're going to go over to that. Okay. Okay. The next slide.
This is a wallet. This is something in which you would put money. But in those days, for a child to have a banknote of any kind was quite unusual.
Yeah.
You didn't have a lot of money, but it was good to have something like this to carry money if you should have any. So that was something which uncles and aunts might easily give you. Something didn't cost a lot of their own money, and it was something you'd use one day anyway.
So there you are. So it's something useful. Yeah.
Yes, a wallet.
Would it look like that, or would it look a bit different?
Be simpler. And I mean, this is if I opened it, you'd see it had space for cards, but we didn't use cards for money in those days. It was simply where you put your coins and your banknotes. So it didn't look exactly like this one.
Okay. So something useful, something practical.
Yeah.
So these are all really simple things. Like you said, we're not they weren't expensive gifts. They're just very simple ideas that that children would like. That kind of thing.
Your parents might spend a little more money to buy something a little bigger, a little more special. You could really enjoy.
So what did you do when you so going back to the 1940s, because I think that's quite interesting going back that far, when you were like 9 or 10. So what did you do on Christmas Eve?
Can't remember quite. There wasn't any television to watch.
No TV. Okay.
You could maybe play family games, that sort of thing.
What kind of games would you play?
Again, it's a long time ago. I was very small, and I can't really tell you.
Long time ago. We're talking about 50 years ago. I don't know how many. No, 80. 83.
We're talking about 80 years back or towards that.
Nearly.
And it was wartime. You didn't have a lot of possessions. So
Second World War, that kind of thing.
Life was simpler.
What about when I was 9 or 10? What did we do on Christmas Eve? Typically, or what did we usually do on Christmas Eve?
A lot of the time, we just started wrapping stuff up and making sure everything was decorated and ready for the next day.
So it actually wrapped the presents on Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas.
If anything had not been wrapped already, that's when it would finish off. So the last of the parcels would be laid out. But of course, when you were very small, your own gifts would be hidden anyway and just brought out on Christmas morning. Because if the parcels were out there, a little child might be tempted to rip them open and have a look at them early.
Yeah, me. I'd probably try and steal the presents and open them.
So you had to be careful about that one. As they were hidden and just produced in a big stocking on Christmas Day, that was a safer way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, right. So I think I've still got something left, haven't I? In my stocking. So, any ideas? I don't know. Okay. I've got something very, very similar to what you showed us first, actually.
Yeah.
And I know that you used to give this to me when I was a boy.
Okay.
And let's see. It is dun, 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 an orange, because you used to give us fruit as well when we were younger.
Yeah.
I don't know if people still do this with their children for Christmas now, but we're talking about 40 years ago.
They'd rather have some sort of mechanical toy these days than just an orange.
I don't know. I don't know what you guys. I don't know if you guys have Christmas stockings back home where you are now. But that's So that's what we used to get. in the 1980s. There we are. I'll be eating that a little bit later for breakfast, late breakfast. There we are. So we're nearly come to an end now of our broadcast. We've just gone over 30 minutes, but we're just about to finish. But before we do, have you got any other objects in your...
No more objects.
Okay, so I'm going to reveal my last object, and then we're going to say goodbye. So let's have a look. Dun, 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 dun. It's now this is a children's Christmas storybook, and I think you used to like to read stories, didn't you?
We like to remind you that Christmas is basically something that comes from the Christian faith, tells how Jesus came into this world as a baby.
Yeah, there are. So
and
got
it's
some
just
nice
lovely
pictures
to
in it.
remember that.
It's got some nice pictures. Thanks, Mon Kim. So again, it's really basic. It's a really simple present. So that's it. So all our presents really very cheap, very simple things we would have got if we were 9 or 10 years old in the 1940s and in the 1980s. So you can guess both of our ages now. You know, so there I've got chocolate storybook, orange, and Gromit the dog. And what did you have again?
Fruit, like the other one. Wallet for money. A book for writing in. And a pen for doing the writing. That was it.
Fantastic. Well, you've been great, Dad. You've been great. And I just want to wish, well, thanks everybody for watching. You know, this is the first time we've tried to do a live broadcast, and really enjoyed doing it. Actually, might try it again sometime in the future. But now I just want. Oh, we've got a comment in. Hey, I recommended this channel on my blog for people who are learning British English. Inhey, thank you so much. You're a superstar. Thank you for supporting us.